Hey there, welcome to day one of 30 Days of Creativity. I am so excited for this month ahead, and I have all kinds of things planned for you, but I have intentionally thought it through. So I'm just going to jump right in and tell you what's going to happen. So week one, each day, I'm just kind of breaking down all the different things involved in making mixed media art. And by mixed media, what I mean is using multiple things, like, for example, a pen, a marker, and acrylic paint all on one surface. So versus just sticking to paint or just sticking to a colored pencil or something like that. So I'm just talking about, because that's typically how I work. I use all different kinds of media. Sometimes I stick just with paint, but usually I add something else in, collage, something that makes it multimedia. So week one, I'm gonna be breaking it down. I take each day, I kind of explain some different topics and just kind of simplify the ideas that I have found that would be helpful for you, that I think will be helpful for you. In week two, I talk a lot about each day about how to begin, and I give you some really concrete ways, like, okay, if you really can't begin, try this. This is so easy. If you can't, each day I come up with something different. And there is, so hopefully there's something for everyone, and there is some ideas that you can absorb and take in, and that will help you take your next steps and continue in your creative journey as you're, getting going. Because honestly, the biggest barrier for most of us is starting. And so that's why I spend a whole week on just kind of coming up with some ideas and some ways to begin, to simply get started, because the hurdle, it's real. And most of us come up to that hurdle and we don't jump. We just stand there like, what the heck? So I spent a week on just beginning and different ideas around that. The third week, I really dive into collage and different ways you can use collage. It's just a week about collage. And then the last week, and it's a little over a week, I called it creative ideas. Because here's the thing, not everything you do has to be in a art journal, which is one here, or on a canvas, or just on paper. It can be, but how do you take your art and use it for practical ways? So I talk a lot, the creative ideas isn't like how to paint a landscape or something along those lines. It's like, what can I do in a practical way with my art that I've already made, with my collage papers, with my, or what can I do, how can I use my artistic, creative spirit in a very practical way? So what are some tangible things I can do besides have something hang on my wall or have an art journal filled with stuff that's tucked on a shelf? So those hopefully will spur you on also to use your art and your creativity in new and maybe unexplored ways. So, it's sounding very it's crazy, but honestly, it's nothing I did is, and nothing I show you is, what do I want to say? Like super deep maybe, or like so hard that you couldn't figure it out. I tried to keep it I'm not diving deep into color theory or composition or any of those kind of things. I am sticking with, how do you get started? Let's get going. What does this mean? How does this work? What are some ideas? And that is all this month is about, is those kind of things. There are many places to go to dive deep into those other areas. And certainly we could possibly do that here at some point. But to me, my whole point of why I make these videos is to just encourage people to get started. And if you really get hung up on the language or the how-tos, then you never start, because you got to make a lot of really bad art and you got to make a lot of mistakes in order to progress and get to where you really want to be. So I just want you to challenge yourself to this month to think about your next steps, to learn, to practice, to try, to take the time that you might need. And some of these are just like informational. Here's what this is. For example, here's a substrate, which is day 2. And I just talk about the different ones, just opening your ideas like, oh, I could paint on a box. I don't know if I even mentioned that one, but anything can be a substrate. And I kind of try to show you that. So some of the days are just more informational, and some of them are like, hey, here's how you can do this XYZ. So anyway, I appreciate you coming along for this journey, for this ride, for this month, and hopefully you will find, maybe not every day is going to resonate with you, but maybe there'll be a day or two that you can go, oh, that was a really great tip or idea, because that is obviously the whole point of doing this, is to boost creativity and to get everyone excited about making art and being encouraged to be your best creative self, I guess, whatever that might mean to you, because obviously each of us are unique, and each of us have our own style, and each of us have our own way and of making art and of being creative, and it can look different just no matter who we are. So I wish we were all here in a room and we could just make art together and encourage one another. But since we're not, I'm doing it this way, in a virtual way. And so anyway, thanks for coming along. I'm going to take a deep breath there and get started with this week, or this month. What am I saying? But before I begin, I thought I would kick it off. I'm going to just do a flip through of a art journal that I actually have been working on and off in for 2 years, since 2022. It's this one right here. It's this one. And it's a little bit smaller format than I normally work in. So maybe that was why I didn't work in it as often. I'm actually going to do it in fast forward, maybe not super high speed, but just, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm not going to talk about what's in here. Most of everything is self-explanatory. I'm exploring abstracts. I'm exploring portraits. I'm doing some timed things. So there's not much to say other than I just want you to see like what I've been doing over the past couple years in this smaller format. But the other thing is the pages are not sequential. So I do never work in an art journal starting from page 1 and work back. I open the middle, start there, I start slopping paint around, and then, so they're not in any kind of order. I have no idea which one I did in 2022 when I started and which one I finished. Well, I probably know which one I finished because it was just a few weeks ago. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna show you this art journal, and we are gonna finish day 1 of 30 days of creativity.